Hello everyone, I hope you guys are all doing well and are having a great day whenever you're watching this. I thought I would do a very laid back video today, just a very relaxing and chilled one, and just do a Q&A with you guys because honestly I haven't been really that inspired to vlog lately, so I haven't really been picking up my camera throughout my everyday life, and I think it's just because we've been in lockdown here in Sydney for about 2 months now, and I just feel like my days are kind of getting a bit same old. And not that you guys mind, I know that you like to see like the mundane stuff as well because it's relatable, but it's not really that fun for me to film all the time. So I've just taken a little break over the past few weeks, and I thought instead of just not uploading at all, I would sit down and film a Q&A with you guys because it has been a while since we've done like a life update and just a catch up. So I asked you guys to send in some questions on Instagram, and I have no idea what I'm going to answer or where this video is going to go, but hopefully this video will help you guys get to know me a little bit better. And I would love it if you guys could leave me a comment in the comment section because it always makes me so happy reading what you guys have to say, and it makes me feel really connected to you all. And I just think that's the fun thing about putting content out online. I just love connecting with my audience. So anyway, I'm going to get up my questions and we'll get started. As you can see, I've got my cup of tea here, which is literally scalding my hand. It's so hot and I don't know where to put it. I still need to get like a coffee table or something, but we're gonna try and hold it anyway so I can have my tea and read the questions. How are you doing during lockdown? I feel like this is a good place to start because it's a big thing that's going on in my life at the moment. And I'm doing okay, to be honest. I've had days that are worse than others, but honestly, like I can't complain. I feel like I've been keeping busy and I've been working on like a lot of new projects, which have been keeping me quite occupied. And I've also just been trying to use this time to focus on myself and my career and what I want out of it. And I feel like it's kind of like a distraction-free time in a way because it's not like we can go on holiday or anything like that. So I'm very focused on my career at the moment. Something that I found has really helped is just like planning out what I'm doing the night before and giving myself like little things to look forward to. Overall, I feel like I've been doing relatively well in lockdown. Okay, next question. What piercings do you want to get next? I honestly don't know. I love ear piercings so much, and I loved the piercings that I got recently from Lavisa. As you can see, I've got like my thirds done, and then I actually had my cartilage pierced here as well, but I had to take it out a couple of weeks ago because it kept getting really aggravated from wearing my mask. Has this happened to any of you guys after getting piercings? But my mask kept getting caught behind the back of the piercing and it was getting so aggravated, and then when I'd go to sleep it hurt so much, and I was like, honestly, I just need to take it out and let it heal up because it was not healing and it had almost been 2 months. But I really did like that piercing, so you never know, I'll probably get some more cartilage ones in the future. But other than that, I've never really had a desire to like get my belly button pierced or my nose pierced again. As you know, I had my nose pierced a few years ago, but I just don't really know if I like it that much, if I'm honest. And I kind of just like simple piercings and just like little dainty ones on your ears. Miriam said, I really like your hair. What do you ask for when you're at the hairdresser? I hope I said your name correctly, but I honestly don't really ask for too much when I go to the hairdresser. I kind of have an idea of like what I want, but I just let them do their thing at the end of the day. But I haven't been to the hairdresser in so long. I think it's been like 3 months since I was last there. But even before that, I didn't really get much done to my hair, and it's so healthy at the moment, which I'm loving. Like, look how long it's got. Considering I chopped it to about here a year and a half ago, it has grown so much. And I also am loving the fact that my roots are natural at the moment. And it's also been great in lockdown because it's meant that I haven't really had regrowth. So to answer your question about what I got when I went to the hairdressers last, I'm pretty sure I actually just got some lowlights. I don't think I had any highlights. I think she gave me a bit of a root shadow and just blended it. That's very on trend at the moment, like the blend trend. That's what my hairdresser calls it anyway. And also, if you were wondering where I go to Bixie in Caringbah, and they are amazing. My hairdresser is Cherie, and they look after my hair so well, and they honestly nail the blonde every single time. I've done so many different shades of blonde and I love them all, but yeah, I'm really liking the natural blonde at the moment. Let me know what you guys think. How do you take care of your mental health during this time? I would honestly say getting off of social media. I love social media so much, but sometimes it can be so detrimental to my mental health. But in saying that, I also think social media can be really great if you find the right people to follow, because I follow some people who make me feel so calm and grounded and relaxed, and they honestly improve my mood so much when I watch them. So I think you've got to find the right people to follow on social media. So that's kind of steered away from the question, but both of those things kind of help with my mental health, depending on how I feel and what I need. I also think setting yourself some goals during this time can be really helpful, whether they're small goals or big goals, and they don't have to be anything too crazy, because the last thing we need to do right now is put too much pressure on ourselves. But you know, if you've always wanted to learn how to do graphic design, I think now is the time to practice that skill and just make the most of it. I just think taking small actions throughout the day can do a world of good for us right now. I think sitting around and watching Netflix all the time isn't really that great for our mental health. I know for me, it definitely makes me feel worse. And sure, I do think there is a time and place for it, and it can be very comforting. But I think there's no better feeling than living your own life and achieving your own little goals, even if we are in lockdown. Like, there's always something that you can be improving on and doing for yourself. And also something else that's helped me with my mental health is having like multiple things going on, so that if like one area of my life isn't really flourishing, I can then focus on another area of my life, because that is something that I didn't do in the past. And I would put all of my energy into YouTube, for example, and I wouldn't really focus on like other areas. And then if my YouTube channel wasn't doing that well, then I would take it really personally, and I wouldn't know what else to do, and I'd feel like I had nothing else going on in my life, and my identity was so tied to that one thing. But in recent years, something that I found has really helped is doing multiple things. So for example, I'm starting this other little business, and I'm also trying to get better at other hobbies, focusing on my health, focusing on my relationships, so that if like one aspect isn't really thriving, then I know I've still got all of the other things going on. So that's really helped my mental health. So for example, at the moment, I'm feeling a little bit burnt out with vlogging. So I'm like, you know what? I don't need to beat myself up about it. I'm just gonna go and focus on something else, because there's so much more to me than just vlogging. I hope that made sense, but like, there are a few little tips that have really helped my mental health. What is your favorite thing to do with your boyfriend? At the moment, I would say honestly going on walks together. I find that Braden and I just have like the best conversations when we're on a walk for some reason, and I think it's just undistracted time that we get to spend together, and there's just no other time like it, if I'm honest. Like, we don't have the same kind of conversations if we're at the dinner table even. But honestly, we have been finding it quite hard to find things that we like doing together during lockdown. So let me know if you guys have a boyfriend or a partner, like what you like to do in lockdown with them. We actually are gonna do an online order tonight and get some puzzles, and I think we're gonna order a chessboard as well. So I think that will be good to do together. I know Braden really wants to buy bikes so we can go bike riding together, and I think that would be like a nice activity that we can kind of work on together. But yeah, let me know if you have any ideas, because we're a little bit stuck. I've had quite a few questions about like the townhouse that we're building and how it's coming along. And I don't know if I really like explained it properly in previous videos, but we haven't actually started the building process just yet. So that probably won't start until like next year, or like potentially halfway through next year, I'm not sure. But we've paid the deposit for the land already, and then in a few months we'll pay the rest of what's owed, which goes towards like building the place. And so it's meant to be registered around February next year, and then it should start being built not too long after that, as long as there's no delays. So yeah, it is a bit of a process, but we're not too stressed because it's not like we're moving into it. It's just like an investment property, and we've gone through a company to do it, which has been so helpful. They honestly do everything. Like, we haven't really had to do much at all right now. We've just had to pay the deposit for the land, and everything's kind of done in installments. So it's not like we have like this big lump sum of money that we have to pay up front. So that's quite nice. So yeah, we're really excited about it, but there's not really much to update right now. But following on from the question about how the build is going, I was also asked if I could share some tips about buying an investment property. And I just want to say, I'm not a professional at all. You know, I'm not that experienced. This is my first investment property, but I will say that Braden and I looked into a bunch of different options. We looked at buying apartments that were off the plan, apartments that were already built. We looked at like old apartments that we could renovate, and we looked at new apartments as well. And we wrote a massive pros and cons list for each option just to see what would work best for us. And financially, it worked out better for us to buy some land out of Sydney and build on that, because Sydney is so expensive and we've bought in a high growth area. So that's something that like the company that we went through researches for us. So they find high growth areas that have like a high rental demand, so you can pretty much guarantee tenants. And then they also worked out how much we would be getting in rent for the duplex. And for us, the money that we would be getting in rent would cover the mortgage and partially some of our rent. So I guess in the end, we decided to do rent vesting, which is what they call it. So we're renting where we are now, and then we're going to be getting money from the investment property, which will cover the mortgage and some, basically. But I just wanted to reiterate that that is not for everyone. This is just our situation and what worked for us. But I thought I would share it with you guys in case it helps any of you guys out, because I would have loved to see someone talk about it, because it is very overwhelming when you're wanting to get into the property market, and like it's really hard to know where to start. So that is like what worked out for us in the end. So I hope that maybe helps some of you guys out if you're looking into doing that kind of thing too. I recently accomplished a huge goal of mine and told 2 of my friends, and they completely dismissed it. And this isn't the first time. Yeah, that sucks. I've personally learned so much about friendship in my 20s, obviously my teenage years, but I've learned a lot in the past few years. But I would say, like, you know, if it is quite toxic and it's not making you happy at the end of the day, like, you just don't want to surround yourself with that, because it's not worth it. Like, you choose who you want to be friends with. And I think your friends should always build you up and make you feel good. I mean, if it's really bothering you, I think maybe talk to them and ask them like why they aren't being super supportive of the goal that you reached. But they could potentially have like their own issues going on in their world and their own insecurities going on. And I think that's something to always remember, that like other people have stuff going on in their own world. I think something that I've realized, and actually this is something that my psychic told me, is that when people treat you a certain way, sometimes you can take it really personally and feel like they're treating me this certain way and they don't treat anyone else like that. But if you take a step back and have a look at that whole situation, you might realize that they actually treat everyone like that, and it's just them, it's just their personality, and there's no need to really take things so personally. And I'm not trying to dismiss the whole situation and say that what they're doing is right at all, but I just think that's a really interesting perspective, and it's really made me think when I get upset and just like take a step back and be like, wait, is that personal, or is that just, you know, the way they are? So I think that's something worth noting when you feel upset about something that a friend's done. But also at the end of the day, like, you're not going to get answers unless you have a conversation with someone. And if that doesn't work out, if they don't handle it maturely, then I think like it's time to distance yourself from that friendship. How did you feel after receiving your COVID vaccination? So if you guys didn't know, I received my first dose of AstraZeneca last week, and I felt pretty fine, honestly. Like, straight away afterwards, totally fine, just had like a little bit of a sore arm, and I was fine throughout the night. But the next day, I felt like I had a terrible hangover, and I was just quite tired for about 2 days and had to take Panadol like every 4 hours or so just to get rid of the headache. It wasn't anything unbearable, but it was just like a little bit uncomfortable, but so worth it. I did actually vlog before and after, and like just did some updates of the experience. So let me know if you guys would like to see that, because I was a little bit unsure about whether I should post it or not, because I know that like talking about vaccinations and stuff can be controversial, but I also think it is quite important to raise awareness about it. And I wanted to maybe film those clips to maybe make someone else feel a little bit more comfortable if they're thinking about getting the vaccine. So let me know if that's something you would like me to post, because I do have those clips and maybe I can chuck them in like an upcoming vlog or something. When will the podcast be back? I've had quite a few questions about this, and you guys are so sweet and you have such lovely things to say about the podcast, and I seriously miss it. Like, I've got a list on my phone in my notes of podcast episodes that I want to record and just topics that I want to talk about. And I know like it seems really easy just to sit down and record, but honestly, it's not. Like, there's a lot of time that goes into making the podcast, and it would take me a couple of hours, honestly, to record and then edit it and post it. And really overall, it would take a full day out of my week. And it was so worth it because I loved doing it. But at the end of the day, I'm not making any money from the podcast at the moment. And I needed to take a step back this year to focus on the things that did bring me income, because I was so desperate to move out of home. So I was trying to save up to buy somewhere, and obviously we ended up renting, and that money went towards the investment property. But that's why I kind of had to put it on hold, because I was like, I can't dedicate my time to this right now. But I do have plans to bring it back. And I've said it before, but I really do want to have like a good system when I come back, just so that I'm consistent and I don't really need to take a huge break again. But if I'm being realistic, the podcast probably won't be back for at least another couple of months, just because I'm putting all of my focus into this new little business that I'm doing. And then once I've kind of got that up and running and a bit more automated, then I can like look at doing other things. But I don't want to overwhelm myself, because then it means that I won't be able to do everything to the best of my ability. So bear with me, it will be coming back. I just can't tell you guys an exact time, but I seriously do miss it. I miss talking about personal development with you guys, and I really want to try and like talk about personal development a little bit more in like my videos and on my Instagram. So yeah, let me know if you would like to hear me talk about that stuff a bit more, because it is such a big part of me and what I want to share. So I've been really trying to make an effort to focus on my personal development lately, because I feel like it was like lacking a little bit a few months ago, and I felt quite different. So I'm feeling much more back to myself now, because I've been getting into reading again and listening to podcasts and just putting more time aside for my own personal growth. So hopefully I will have learnt a lot more, and I will have lots to share with you guys when the podcast comes back. So you can look forward to that. I'm so excited about it. But yes, I just want to be honest, it's probably not going to be back still for a couple of months. Are you looking for a change outside of YouTube? And this is an interesting question, because I wouldn't say that I am. I love YouTube so much. It's my favorite platform out of everything, and I can't see myself stopping YouTube ever, really. Like, vlogging is so much fun. I would say that I want to put more energy into other platforms as well, because it's really important to keep evolving in this job and to focus on like other things. And so I would say that I don't really want to like ever leave YouTube and have a change from it, but I want to like introduce new things as well and try new things, because it's so easy to just get stuck doing what you're comfortable with. And I feel like I've been comfortable for a little while. So I'm wanting to challenge myself a little bit more by doing more like Instagram reels and stuff. I know I have mixed feelings when it comes to like TikTok and Instagram reels, but at the end of the day, I really want to give them a crack and just see what it's about, and hopefully like they'll grow on me a little bit more, because I do think they're quite fun. I've just not been used to doing short form content, but you know what? I'm up for the challenge, and I really want to give it a crack and just see what I can do with those platforms. What is your best advice for someone moving out for the first time? I've had a few questions about moving and like moving in with your partner, and just advice on moving in general. And I've done both, obviously. I've moved out on my own before and then moved in with Brayden, and both experiences have been quite different. So the first time that I moved out of home was so nerve-wracking. It was very overwhelming, but so good for me, and it was a change that I really needed. I was kind of at this like pivotal point in my life where I was like, I just don't know what's next, and I was a little bit stuck with my content, and I was going through such a rut, and I just felt like I needed to do a big change. And moving out of home was that change, and it was the best thing for me. It really helped me evolve my content and evolve as a person and just kind of grow up. But in saying that, it definitely was an adjustment. So some tips for moving out on your own for the first time would be to make sure you have people still coming around a lot. I know that I had like a few friends who practically lived at my place and would come around all the time, and that really helped me. And obviously Brayden would come around as well. But also just failing and learning from your mistakes. Honestly, there's no other way really to kind of learn than to fail. And I had to learn how to cook, which I didn't really know how to do, and you know, do my washing and stuff like that. And I obviously brought you guys along for the whole process as well, which was really cool, and it's cool to look back on. So I would say that they're really like the best tips that I have. Oh, and also if you're moving out on your own for the first time, and you know, you're relatively young, or even if you're not young, I really recommend looking for somewhere that you feel very safe. And so I actually lived in an apartment complex that was huge. It was very, very secure, and I felt so safe in there. I'm the type of person who gets very scared easily. Like honestly, even when I was living back in my family's house, I would get scared staying there sometimes. Like I'd get scared thinking that there were like ghosts in my room and stuff. So I'm surprised I managed to live on my own for a year and not get too scared. But I think living in a secure building really does help, especially for your first time living out of home. And then as for tips for moving in with your partner, I think like the best advice I can give is just have like very open conversations before you commit to moving in together, and just talk about what it's going to be like and kind of imagine your routine. And I feel like by Braden and I having these conversations and even imagining our routine before we lived together, we realized things that we might not agree on and things that we did agree on. Like for example, we had the conversation about meat, and we realized that Braden maybe likes to eat more meat than I do, and then we just kind of compromised. And I think that's the biggest thing, like we've just had to kind of see things from each other's perspective when like we disagree. But Braden and I have very similar like values and upbringings, and I feel like we're on the same page, and he's quite tidy. If anything, I'm a little bit more messy. And I think like if you're with your partner at the end of the day, you should be able to be honest and communicate with them about like what you want and come to like a happy medium. But I think like that's kind of my best tip, is honestly talking about every single scenario before you move in together. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap up this video now because I've been chatting for quite some time, like literally over an hour. I'll probably edit this video down quite a lot, but I hope you enjoyed this very relaxed, chatty video. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this, because I think it's so fun filming a good old-fashioned Q&A. Like, do people still do this? I feel like people only ever do Q&As now, like when they're driving or doing their makeup or filming a mukbang. But I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna sit down on my couch with a cup of tea and just chat to you guys. So if you did enjoy the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And I promise I will get back into vlogging a little bit more consistently soon. I've got some fun videos planned for the next week or so. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.